Mill Street in Maynooth is getting an upgrade. The street has become a little run down looking and could do with a facelift. So let's see what Kildare County Council have in store for us. This video is just my opinion of the roadworks. I don't work for Kildare County Council. Mill Street is a very busy street. Manor Mills Shopping Centre attracts thousands of shoppers every week. The street also has many pedestrians walking through on their way to schools, shops and the university. In fact, the number of students in the university is on par with the number of citizens living in the town. A huge number of them come into the town on the train and walk to the university via Mill Street. The footpath over the Lyreen River Bridge is very narrow given the volume of foot traffic, and it can be difficult to navigate with a buggy or a wheelchair. So the first good news is that there is a new footbridge going in here. The footpath is narrow outside Dunn's stores, but it looks like it's not going to get any wider. The council were forced to put a rail in to try to stop people from walking on the road. It's a shame Manor Mills was built so close to the road. Mill Street is also home to St. Mary's Catholic Church. The church wall will be moved back slightly as part of these works. The church also hopes to put in some proper parking spaces and make the entrance a little safer. A new development of 120 apartments is planned for the site next to the church. With all these apartments being built in the town, I hope our councillors aren't forgetting about green space. We need to make sure Maynooth continues to be a nice place to live. Mill Street also has a large amount of daily motor traffic. A huge number of cars use Mill Street to get to and from the M4 motorway. Locals can get frustrated by the long delays that regularly occur here, but these works are not meant to help cars. The works on Mill Street are referred to as an active travel scheme. So what does that mean? It looks like the main reason for the works is to improve the look and feel of the town, and to make walking and cycling as safe as possible. Maynooth isn't a very bike-friendly town in my opinion. I think a lot of us would cycle if it were safer, so it's great to see some improvement here. The percentage of people who cycle in Maynooth is around 2%. Some of our primary schools still don't have cycle lanes in front of them in 2025, which is hard to believe. So any improvement in cycling is welcome, especially if we want to make it safer for children to cycle to school. But it looks like a large section of the new cycle path is shared with pedestrians. It seems there just wasn't enough room for a separated cycle lane on this side of the road. This could end up pushing kids on bikes onto the busy road. It is good to see bus stops being added to Mill Street here and here. There is no room for buses to pull in, so traffic will need to wait while passengers get on and off. Passengers will queue up and be dropped straight onto the cycle lane, which isn't ideal. But it's just not wide enough to do anything else here. The pedestrian crossing at Pound Lane is to be raised to try to get traffic to slow down. The stop sign for cars is to be moved further back. This also makes it more wheelchair friendly. The traffic lights are to be changed to token crossings that can be used by both pedestrians and cyclists. The 6 parking spaces on Mill Street are going to be removed. One side is to become a taxi bay and the other a loading bay. You can see the new bike lanes are being added inside the new taxi bays. This is far better than having them between parked cars and moving vehicles. The Mill Street Active Travel Scheme in Maynooth is a great upgrade. Maynooth has an opportunity to become a town where cycling is the default option for the people who live there. And I'm sure many parents would love to see their kids cycle to school more often. I've noticed some kids cycling on the footpaths. This is because their parents told them to. Parents don't feel safe letting their kids cycle on the roads. A town quite similar to Maynooth is Houten in the Netherlands. The weather is similar. It rains just as much in Houten as it does in Maynooth. Houten and Maynooth are also very flat, which is ideal for cycling. Both have canals and train stations and are bypassed by a motorway. But over 40% of trips within Houten are made by bicycle. In Maynooth, it's closer to 2%. To see more videos of Houten and other bike-friendly towns, take a look at the Bicycle Dutch YouTube channel. They built ring roads around Houten's two town centres in a figure-of-8 shape. And if you want to get from any point in the town to another in a car, you are forced to use the ring roads. There is no way through the middle for cars, so people walk and cycle simply because it's the most convenient way. Can Maynooth learn anything from Houten? Maynooth has a plan for ring roads too. There is also talk of closing off the centre of the town to private cars when the ring roads are built. I think it's a fantastic idea, and we should encourage our councillors to get it done. Allowing buses but not cars through the town will help buses run on time. And the reduced number of cars will make cycling much safer. Lower traffic will make Maynooth Main Street much quieter and less polluted. As well as reducing car traffic, Houten built proper, safe cycling infrastructure. It's so safe most people don't wear helmets. Some cycle lanes are designed to be safe enough for a 9-year-old to cycle to school on their own. This is a cycle map of the two towns. As you can see, Maynooth has a long way to go. The Maynooth train station car park is usually full before 8 AM. Ideally, these spaces should not be used by people who live nearby. But people don't feel safe cycling, and they are afraid their bikes will be stolen, so they drive, even if it's only a few kilometres. Mill Street is just a small part of the network of cycle paths. But when Maynooth eventually has a full network of bike paths that also use the Greenway, it could really become an incredible place to live, where people and families can safely cycle if they want to. We all know exercise is good for us. We keep promising ourselves that we will get more active tomorrow. But we need to make exercise part of our everyday lives. So if you feel Maynooth's active travel infrastructure could be improved, why not let your local county councillors know? They think nobody wants to cycle, but many of us do. And even if you don't want to cycle, I'm sure you'd like it if there were fewer cars on the road and in car parks. There are other towns in Holland where cycling makes up to 60% of all trips inside the town. And the average person cycles 10 times a week. Safe, separated cycling infrastructure is key to what they have achieved in Houten. It seems truly incredible, yet incredibly simple. Imagine the health benefits, imagine the money savings, imagine the pollution and carbon reduction. Imagine Maynooth.